Hello, hello, phantoms. Welcome to Haunted Mat Yoga. Rachel here, and today we're going to be playing with our Skandasana. So we're going to start just taking a couple Skandasanas side to side, get the hips moving, and then I'm going to show you a fun transition into Skandasana and a couple fun transitions out of Skandasana to incorporate into your own creative movement practice. We are also going to play with some Skandasana circles at the end, which are really, really fun. So let's get started right away. Meet me in a wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come all the way down to the mat if you like here. You could also have blocks as an option. Then we're going to move into our first Skandasana and start to walk the hands over towards the right foot, bending into the right knee, flexing left toes up to the sky, sinking the hips down. Also, let's take that over the other side, pivoting through your wide fold. Left knee bends, flex the right toes up. Great, now you can also do these hands free. So really driving through that left leg. Try to keep the hips as low as possible as you shift over to the right. Flex those left toes up. Awesome, let's take that back over to the left. Staying as low as you can in the hips. Awesome. Great, let's meet back in center. And those are our side-to-side Skandasanas. We'll start with our transition into our Skandasana now. We're going to be going from a Chaturanga to a Skandasana, side to side. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll break it down. So that's what this is going to look like. Ideally, we want to be warmed up through the spine, through the hips already. So warmed up, meet me in a tabletop position. All right, let's tuck those toes and come to find a high plank. And from here, take that shift forward, shoulders past the wrist, bend into the elbows, keep those hugged in. We're bending to a 90-degree angle. Nice long spine here, gazing down towards your mat. Squeeze the left heel in towards the butt. We're going to start to open the hips to the left side of the room as that left foot drops over to the right. Really push through that right arm to pop yourself all the way up to your Skandasana, flexing those right toes up to the sky. To take that back, we're going to start to turn towards that right shoulder, pivoting all the way to replace the hands back right into that Chaturanga. And take it over to the other side, squeeze that right heel in. Start to open the hips to the right, opening the chest up towards the sky, push into that left arm to come all the way up to your Skandasana facing the left side of your room. Awesome, let's take that back, starting to turn to the left, twisting to bring the hands all the way back down. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now we have 3 transitions from our Skandasana to play with. So number 1, let's start in our Skandasana, bending into the right knee, left toes are flexing up. We're going to pivot to a low lunge from here. So start to drive through that right leg to lift the hips up, pivoting on the feet to turn them towards the front of the mat. Take the left hand down, exhale the right arm up. Take a breath in here. And with an exhale, let's backstroke that right arm, roll to the edges of the feet, horizon lunge. Great, inhale that back up, pivoting through your low lunge. And exhale, sink back into that right knee Skandasana. Nice. Let's take number 2, which is going to be a Skandasana to a pistol squat. It's going to be a little harder. From that same position, right knee bend. Start to lift that left heel up off the ground and sweep it forward to extend in line with the hip. I like to take my hand to my foot, take a breath in, exhale, drive through that right leg to stand all the way up, and inhale it all the way back down. You can take that over to the other side by releasing, sweeping that leg over back into Skandasana. Let's pivot to the left side. And we'll try it here. Right heel lifts. Engage that quad, sweep it forward. Grab onto the toes. And exhale, take it up. Inhale, lowers it down, nice and slow. And release, sweep it back out. Nice. Number 3, we're gonna do a Skandasana through pincha mayurasana in between. And ideally, you already want to have a pincha in your practice here. This is more of a press pincha from a straddled position. So if you are new to pincha, I recommend a wall, a spotter. Be careful with this one. From my Skandasana, I'm bent into the left knee. I'm going to start to drive through that left leg to pick the hips up, bring the forearms down, shift the weight into the arms to lift the toes, finding your straddle. And from here, let's lower the hips or lower the toes back down. Once they connect, as you start to push up through the arms, bend into the right knee, sink the hips down. Let's take that one more time. Driving through that right leg, start to push up, hinge forward to bring the forearms down. Shift forward to lift up, find that float or gentle push. And as the hips come back down, left knee bends, right toes flex to sky. So that's a fun one as well. I've got one last thing to show you today, and we're going to do a Skandasana circle. All right, so for our Skandasana circles, let's first come into our Skandasana. I'm going to take a right knee bend, left toes flex up to the sky. From here, I'm going to start to think about sitting my butt back until I come all the way down to a seat. This right leg is going to come forward to extend to a seated pike. I'm going to make this a circle. Let's start to pick up this left leg, bend into the knee, pulling it up as high as you can, externally rotating as you take that hip out to the side, to plant it up as high as you can, close to the left butt cheek, with those toes facing the long edge of the mat. So you can pick the hips up, gently lift to pivot over to the right side Skandasana again. Hips sit down, pike, pull that left knee up as high as you can, externally rotate it to plant, hips lift, and we pivot over to the other side. Awesome, let's take that from the left now. So I'm gonna come bend into my left knee. I'm gonna start to sit back, left leg extends straight out, seated pike, right knee pulls all the way in, externally rotates out to the side to plant up high, toes are facing to the long edge. Decide to take a little lift up with the butt. Sometimes a little lean forward can help lift the hips. Drive through that right leg to push it over to the left. And coming down to that seated pike, left leg extends. So these are a really fun, awesome thing to, play with. Open up your hips and explore some fluid movement and mobility. Thank you so much for joining me for this video today. If you enjoyed this, please give a like and subscribe. Let me know if there's any other poses you want to see transitions into, transitions out of. Try to give a little bit of everything in this one. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please check out the link below for Patreon. We do multiple live classes per week for all levels. And thank you. Have a haunting day.